I've got my feet in the mud and you don't realize I will walk down the alley, you got me trying. I've got my feet in the mud and you don't realize. Caught my eye, caught my hunger, and I'm cutting high. And now I'm stuck in the mud till you realize. Oh, I can see the light from the sky in the morning light. Light from the sky burns, and you see me come around from the other side. Come on and set the light in me, the light in me. You ought to know I get pretty messed up in your sight. You know I'm already with you, treat me right. No, I'm as steady as a shaking light. You know it's real, you know it's real. Can see the light from the sky in the morning light. Light from the sky burns, and you see me come around from the other side. Come on and set the light in me, the light in me.
All right. You know, I totally crapped that whole entire intro, dude. So I guess that wasn't even
Yeah, I was
being on.
I was wondering, I'm like, I flip over to YouTube, I'm looking at it, I'm like,
Yeah, dude,
isn't
I
there a
totally
video?
crapped the whole video, the entire intro. Dan the Guru is up in here. He's with us right now. I had this whole thing that we were gonna do. What's happening, Dan? You're on.
What's going on, Dan?
Experience.
Yep.
Welcome.
Great to see you guys.
Good to see you too, brother. Good to see you too. So I had this whole scheme of what we were gonna do tonight, and I had this whole plan. Here, I got to turn down the TV.
Hey, Doc, it's good to meet you.
You too, man. Give me a second. I'm trying to turn the volume down on. Dang, why is? Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, my computer audio in Chrome is playing through my headphones. Anyways, nice to meet you too. I've heard lots. He's talked quite a bit over the last few days about this whole thing. So
yeah, there's a lot going on with all of this. I'm glad you guys are out doing the thing. We seem to all be doing our unique thing these days, and it's really just it's inspiring, guys.
The unique things are great. So I had put great emphasis on, and I'm getting ready to break my one rule. I put great emphasis on this the other day in conversation with you, Dan, of not letting my real name get out there. But you know what? Tonight's episode is about getting real, getting evolving, getting the audience to know us. So you know what? Hi, my name is Tone, aka the Brown Pancake. But my real name is Joshua. My mom calls me Josh, sometimes JD, sometimes Hey Son. Stop doing that. So we're going to get real tonight. This is who I am. So you can feel free to call me whatever you like. You can call me Tone. You can call me Josh. You can call me JD. Just don't call me late for supper and I'm good.
That's too funny, Tone. I don't know. I sort of already got it in my head. Plus, not to mention, it's what it says on the experience. So
that's right.
Right.
And this is the Tonesperience. Welcome to it. This is your life. The doctor is in, and we got Dan the Guru. So you know what? Let's get into it. Let's get to know one another. Doc, he's got your reading ready together. I hope you overlooked the things.
No, bro.
Are you able to pull up any of the I had sent you a couple of pictures. I emailed them to you, Tone, about maybe 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, let me forward those to Doc real quick. Now that I got a second.
And Doc, every once in a while, I'm going to call you Doc Holiday.
Hey, that works too. That works.
Help it. I can't help it.
If there's been so many different things that have been said about the name for the last, what is it now? Jesus. Oh,
I'm 57, so it's part what's up, Doc, you know.
But that's what I was going to say is the older people, older meaning they were probably late 30s at the time. When I joined my team, that's when the name came up. They constantly mention carrots. They're like, you should carry a carrot around. And I'm like, yeah, but he says it to somebody and calls them Doc. But you need the carrot, not me. And oh yeah, nobody ever did it, but that would have been fantastic. But yeah, many variations.
How we get our nicknames, I think, is just really cool. It's all part of the experience, man. We're just so
right. And the human experience is awesome.
Getting into a brand new experience. So what have you heard, Doc, about your chart? I know I guess it got emailed to you, right?
I just sent him the 2 pictures you just sent me. So Doc, if you check your email,
I'll do that,
but full screen thing so you can share it with us when we start talking about it as well.
Well,
bro.
as far as me reading what he sent me, I talked to you, Tone. When you said you sent them to me, I hadn't seen it yet, and I told you, I said I kind of don't want to know. Well, I kind of want to come in from scratch, and you agreed at the time.
Yep,
I agreed. But what the chart is, it's just a little bitty chart and have numbers. I wanted you to look at that so you get familiar with what Dan is going to bring forward.
Did you even look it up, Doc? Did you get curious and like look up human design on the internet or anything?
My experience with any of this starts with my ex-wife. She was in numerology. She's got 11s tattooed on her wrists because 11's her number and all this kind of stuff. I used to do nothing but berate her for it. But after that relationship was gone, I said I started to learn other stuff. And so I've talked to many other people. And then we had a guest on last year, Nikki Badass, who was a skater in the league I used to referee. Well, she was a roller derby skater. But she was on and she said she had started doing these kinds of things, the readings and all this kind of stuff, like what Tone then was talking to me about what you do. And I'm like, oh my God, I talked with her about this at the chili cook-off and said, I totally want to get into it. I want to dig deep. I want to know. And so, so when he mentioned it, I said, oh my God.
Well, let me just give a little. It's oh my God. I was oh my God at about 14 years ago. Somebody showed me my chart and I didn't make enough of it. And I looked at it and I was like, I wasn't sure that any of that could be counted on. I still felt like it was my old knowledge of astrology was, it seems like there's something there. Just don't tell me I'm going to meet my next wife on Tuesday when Venus is conjunct with Mars or something. I don't buy it. But deep down, we've all known that there's always something behind all of these ancient wisdoms. And so these guys, they were really on to something. And what ended up happening was it was just a key they didn't have. That was why they could never nail down exactly what the heck are we supposed to do with it. So has anyone ever read your astrology for you, Doc?
The closest I've had was I had a friend read my cards.
Okay.
But when the first thing she asked, though, was number between 1 and 5. I gave the wrong number because my number is 3. That's what I have learned about myself is everything seems to go in 3s with me. A 3's and multiples of 3s. It's always 3s. So that's what I should have said. But I said 2 instead. So the reading, I didn't take much from it
Well,
because
then, I mean, usually a girlfriend will be like, "Oh, you're this sign or you're that sign. It means blah blah blah," and it'll be casual information, not like a sit down reading thing. But just
yeah.
yeah.
No, I get that, but
So, have you ever noticed that inside the astrology experience, when someone's talking about it, there's always things that are like, "Hey, that sounds a little bit like me."
oh yeah,
It's not like you can do anything with it. You're not going to
Right.
figure out what job you're going to be, what you're going to do. It doesn't help you make decisions. But there's something there, and they were on to something. Same thing with the Chinese I Ching. You ever hear of it?
oh yeah. Yep.
Okay, 64 hexagrams in that I Ching, right? Right across. And those yin yang lines, it's beautiful. Well, are you aware that that's an exact mathematical match to our genome?
I was literally about to say, there's nothing but math.
There's
It's
nothing but
all
math.
math. Everything you just said, I'm like, that's all math. And then, like you say, it all adds up to
It all
something
adds
that
up to an incredible synthesis
exactly.
of this chart. Hopefully the email got to you so you can pick one of them to.
I don't see any. Oh, wait, there is an email. There wasn't. Nope, that's a video. That's not it. I don't know. He said he sent it. I don't have anything on here. I've got Instagram and Google One. Neither of those are you guys.
Nope. Tone, you
Yeah.
following this, buddy?
Yep, I had to grab my headphone cord. They were running out of juice. I'm sorry.
All
am
good, man. I love this, dude. We're three guys talking, man.
Heck yeah, we are, man.
Hell yeah.
That's the best thing about it. We
Yep.
still need to put that thing out about the Father's Day thing because we want to have what was it, 6 guests and then the 2 of us. We're gonna have like a game show.
So here's my
So-
thought and idea, dude, is we're gonna do that whole thing like we spoke about, Doc.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do trivia like Jeopardy style, and everybody could buzz in on it. And if they win, then they're gonna win a big swag bag, a Tone swag bag to get. That's the thought behind this Father's Day episode game show of ours.
Gotta love that. I want to join. I'll play if I'm around.
Yeah,
Thursday,
we'll have you. We would love to have you.
Thursday
Well,
I'm out for a few days, but I'll be back. Yeah. So Doc, when as that email's coming through, as
Yeah,
it
I don't
turns
have it.
yeah, what I'm gonna
Send
do.
it to your personal email, Doc.
Oh,
from mine.
that's why. Gotcha.
So, yeah, check
okay,
your
go ahead.
personal.
Continue.
Yeah. What I plan on doing is just giving you just one little couple inches of background so that you can see
Okay.
that there's something to this, make an assertion, then start reading your chart for you. So the assertion I'll make up front, what this is genetic science. We now have
Step
something
away for 1
empirical.
second, real quick. Keep
Yeah.
going.
We now have something empirical we can like literally, experiment with and see for ourselves.
Right.
I'll keep talking. And
Shoot.
the reason I
Good
brought
lord.
up the Chinese I Ching was because those guys, when they came up with their 64 hexagrams, they called it the 64 ways, and they started detailing in painstaking detail all these various ways of modern man, ways people act out in the world.
Right.
themselves. And the thing is, they could never triangulate who had which ways, and 5,000 years later, we can dismiss it as voodoo, basically, because it's cute, it's neat, but everyone
Right.
who's I Ching says, "Oh my God, these are ways. I have some of these ways." They'll say to themselves, they just can't quite tell. And along comes our beautiful next round of magic, which is really just science. And it turns out that we could finally map our genome. And when we mapped our genome, we discovered, oh my God, those I Ching guys, they literally decoded, at least mathematically, a representation of what our genome physically looks like.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
You've got to put the math and the science to it. And once you do, it's like, oh crap, those two
Right.
do connect.
They
The-
connect. And the same
Yep.
thing with astrology. They were right. The stars do seem to affect us. They do affect
Yeah.
us, pour through us their neutrino information, and our genome picks it up. And so at the time of your birth, your genome just literally accepts this thing called its differentiation, which is this chart we're looking at, where this is what makes you different, Doc. And you're struck in place. This is you. 10 minutes later, all the planets move. And so the neutrino information pouring in on the genome of the next child born, everything is moved. The chart changes. The chart changes. The construct of the chart stays the same, but that which is activated within it, wherever there's red and black lines, that's what changes. So we're a changing, evolving species. And it doesn't matter if 2 people are born a minute apart right next to each other. There will be subtle differences.
Oh God, yeah.
And we haven't gotten it down to the point where it matters down to like 100th of a second. So if two people are physically born in the same place and time, technically their charts will be identical, but they'll still go out to live different lives. Every up to 8 seconds and as much as a couple minutes, something will change on here. But grossly on the surface, it'll stay the same for sometimes hours at a time. So we just read the surface to people. What you're looking at is that which makes you different. So you see how there are these numbers across the top and everywhere, and every center has all the numbers in it. Well, there's 64 chops in the hexagrams of the Chinese I Ching, and there's 64 codons of genetic material in your body sewing you up all day. Me too.
Yeah.
Same thing with tone. Everyone we know. Some of them you'll have activated. Most of them you won't. Those things which you end up having activated are what I'm able to then call out. So first things first, I'm going to call out that you're a generator. This is the bottom two figures that are where there's a brown square and a red square at the bottom of the chart. And yep, down there. So this is the sacral center connected to the Kundalini, which is this adrenalized energy. What it says is, so Doc, you, much to the chagrin of others, you do pretty well under pressure. Doc does pretty well under pressure.
That's hit or miss, but yeah.
Well,
I've always seen you kind of like a duck on the surface under pressure. You kind of look calm, but underneath, like you are struggling, bro.
But that's the thing but I'm holding.
Yeah,
and that's what I've come to learn, especially these last couple of years. I mean, that's why Mad Monster last year went the way it did. I was put in charge of working 2 celebrities' tables, their lines. I freaked out at first, and I'm like, no, let's do this.
But you overcame it.
Exactly. And I'm like, but it's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much is. I'm opening up on my phone too, just so I can have a different view of it. So what this is telling us is that you're a generator. It means everything that happens with you, Doc, ends up as a response. And you'll notice if you're a generator type, what that really means is that at the end of the day, everything you are, whenever your strength comes out, it's oriented as a response, like everything in this conversation. It becomes responsive. But when you're out there trying to initiate stuff, what happens is you start to feel stuck. So I don't know what you're doing with your life at this moment in time, but this stuckness is a profound state for you at times. And it's right here in your body graph. It's in that channel that makes up that's the reason that you have a red sacral center and a brown root center defined.
I'm sorry. I'm seeing Tone's face because everything you're saying, he knows exactly what that is. And it is spot on.
We need to see your face on this because I want to see your reactions. I could feel this moment of you going, oh, yep, here we go.
Well, are you able to come back on?
I can switch back and forth between the monitors.
Oh, okay.
I have dual monitors and my camera can just switch between the two.
Sometimes Doc plays the producer role and the co-host, so I appreciate him.
I think the software is what I do.
Well, on my podcast, Jennifer's still trying to teach me how to use StreamYard. One day I'll figure it out, and then
I don't even know what that is.
Well, then I'm only half a step ahead of you. I happen to know it.
Another in this process,
right?
And evolving, right?
Right, we're going back.
Okay.
So that stuckness that was in your body graph, Doc. There was a little channel that went between those two centers. Those are our chakra centers, and those are our 9 chakra centers. We've been working off an old system called the 7-centered system for a long time, but it evolved hundreds of years ago and we haven't caught up yet. So those 2 bottom chakra centers, that is energy centers, one is the adrenals of the body, literally, and the other is the sacral, which is just the vibratory sexual energy of the planet. It's the testicles and the ovaries. Most people are a generator. 70% of the planet are a generator of one type or another. And so we have that red fiery box lit up in us. The channel that hooks them up has 2 gate numbers at either end of it, gate number 60 and gate number 3. And this is called the channel of mutation. So wherever you see a channel in a body graph, we can count on, Doc. Now I know that's a life force inside of you. What does it say? It says unconsciously you feel stuck and limited all the time. It's confusing. There's this giant set of confusion before ordering takes place. And then like the guy on Growth Point Blank who says, dumb frickin' luck, there you are in a moment, everything puts itself into order and suddenly confusion is transcended and the limitation is gone.
Let me pause and interject for 1 second, put a pin in this. We got people in the chats going now. So let's actually introduce what we're doing, because we really didn't introduce. We just kind of stepped right in.
We did.
That's what I expected. Well, that's the vision I saw it from this. So what we're doing is Dan
also have the image loaded up better now.
Taking the information and he's doing a star chart reading based just off of Doc's name, date of birth, where he was born, in the time that he was born, and telling us all sorts of information that we're going to grow and learn from one another and how we coexist as a team. Okay.
One correction, not a star chart. It's a human design body graph.
Human design body graph. I apologize.
All good. No, all good, bro. Oh yeah, that's nice and clear. So see,
yeah, while we were talking, I was like, nope, grab the image, zoom in. Okay.
So down at the bottom, there you go, down at the bottom, that channel, it's gate number 60 in the brown box and gate number 3 in the red box. Once there's two channels on the either end of a channel, once there's two gates that can come together and connect, that becomes a steady life force. It gets minted into you like a coin. Again, this is a genetic science. It left the realm of star seeds in certain ways because we can keep measuring this. This is our genome at work, bubbling up to the surface to become the character and the things that you're going to end up living out. And so when we start calling them out, Doc, what ends up happening is you start realizing that's who I am. And then we start getting on to who you're not. And then you start realizing there's a difference, and we stop trying to be who we're not. and that ends the cosmic mind fuck, to excuse my language, but that's how we sort of wind down that cosmic brain cramp that everyone has with this chip on their shoulder and all these feelings we got about whatever.
No, we can say those words on this show. We do use that language.
We do.
We have a mark, not safe for kids, because
we're not monetized.
We do it emotionally, and we are so not monetized. We don't care about the money. We just want to share our experiences with other people, and that's what we're doing for fun.
I love it, dude. I love it. I grew up in the land of all of it. So
yeah.
And so anyways, this channel is called the channel of mutation. It's about being mutative. And because mutativeness, meaning bringing something new into the world, transcending an old limitation, creating a new order of a thing, it's not that you're necessarily designed to create a new order for the whole world, but you're constantly newly ordering yourself, your life, your thoughts, the things that happen to you, putting them in a new order that then transcends the old limitation. So in case you're wondering when this process, it's like a pulse that goes, it just shows up. In fact, it's the definition of creation, because it wasn't there and then suddenly it's there. And that's exactly how this is how your transition through life is always happening. There's Doc's like, oh shit, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can see it. I got penetrating awareness. That's another one of your channels. I got a good idea what this is. It showed up, and then suddenly it shows up for you. You don't know what it is, and then suddenly you do. And so you've got to get used to that. That's a pulse that's going to keep happening. So the next time you feel super duper limited, say to yourself, if you were a 5-year-old and I was your dad, I'd be able to say to you, no, son, this is great. You feel limited. That means you're about to get real smart. You just have to wait for the pulse. Your intelligence is going to come through in a pulse, and it's going to show up. And that's been your life story.
Literally everything. I mean, I've become... Tone will know how you've known me since 2016 we figured.
No, we met in 2015.
Was it 15? Okay. But he's seen, because in 2015, that was when my 19-year long relationship with my ex-wife ended. Lowest point for me ever. And since then, that was like I hit the ground and then have been climbing up ever since.
Mm-hmm.
And so he has seen the change, and he's seen things dawn on me, and I'm like, oh my God, it's just, it took time. And then, people come into my life, I'm dating somebody, I met Tone, start meeting these people that are now lifelong friends. it just comes. It's like I was desperate, thinking I was going to be lonely and alone forever. And I'm like, no, give it time. And it flows back. It's like you say, it's like a pulse.
The pulse
It pushes
shows
up
up.
and
Each
then
new,
comes back.
yeah, each new friend shows up.
Outside.
Wow, we got, all right, who's talking?
Somebody joined the group. Who just joined the chat? I sent the link to 2 people. I sent it to Rock and I sent it to my cousin Austin.
I think that said Austin, but I don't know who it is. But yeah,
I don't know who the other one is.
tell them they need to mute their mic, man.
Well, I'm gonna boot them.
This year, or it's right now during spring training. they're
Oh, that's
implementing
awesome.
a pitch clock.
Wow.
So
Come on, man.
The pitcher's got to pitch in so many.
Thank you.
Yep, I moved him. I don't know what happened.
We're all
on
dudes
his
here,
end.
man. It's not
He
personal.
was coming in for something way earlier and it didn't happen. So I'm sorry, cousin. Thanks for watching the stream. He's up in here commenting. So thanks for trying. Anyway, continue. I apologize.
This mutation and this pulse, bro, this, you can count on this. It's always going to show up, and it's always a magical mutative moment whereby the awfulness of feeling stuck. This is the great channel of feeling stuck. It's got a great depression that comes with it. The depression is that nothing will work itself out. Gate number 3 is our genetic proclivity, right? Gate number.
I see you, Tone. I see you.
I know, dude.
All right, keep continuing. I'm sorry.
Is your genetic proclivity to suddenly create and have the newness come into focus and become ordered. It's the gate of ordering. It's the gate of making things go into order where there was chaos before. It's this recognition that you've transcended the confusion. Let me read the heading of it because it's part of your incarnation cross. Difficulty at the beginning, the gate of ordering, this fundamental challenge of initiation. And for you, it's the initiation of transcending the limitation, feeling stuck. Yeah. I broke up with my wife. Everything is hard. I feel stuck. And that limitation only transcends when gate 3 kicks in and realizes the fundamental challenge of initiation is to transcend confusion and establish order. The transcending is the being at peace with yourself while you wait. We're all here waiting.
And I'm finally finding that for only probably the second time so far since the 2015, the last 2 years have been real bad again. I don't know why this time, just for some reason it has loneliness, all that kind of stuff. And now within the last, I think, few weeks only, I'm sitting there, I start thinking about, I'm like, you know what, just accept it. It's gonna keep going. It's going to pass. Something else is going to come. I know it will.
It's always that way. And it's something that you would grow into. What the Chinese had figured out when they had recognized this was one of the ways, it's this unrestrained acceptance of guidance. So basically, you were able to accept guidance from many different people while you went ahead and didn't listen to most of it. Whichever ones were right for you, you were able to accept certain amounts of guidance. So my guess is your friends network and the people that you did still have would say things and you wouldn't necessarily just, blow it off or poo-poo it or say, that's stupid or have any kind of negative necessarily at it. Didn't mean you wanted to hear it. It just means that you allowed it in and it's just, that's a process you've learned through life. So part of this ordering and making structure for you will always be from your network, allowing certain amounts of information to just pour through. So now you can know not everyone sucks when you're trying to get information. And so, but only most of them do. But that's and maybe varies. That was me being sort of harsh, but I'm just saying there's a little bigot inside you that only wants to hear X amount because it's busy trying to put order and mutation into your life, into the world. So there's no room for the influence of others. That's the thing. In a grand scale, what there is tiny windows by which the influence slips in and suddenly you transcend the old limitation and put it into order within yourself. And bam, your life keeps coming back to some form of order every time you allow it. And you suffer when you don't allow that process.
Who, me?
So think about that. If you're going to suffer when you don't allow that process, how many times have you suffered, bro? Over and over.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I never
Next
claim to always learn my lessons. I talk a lot about lessons. Tone knows this. Our episodes that in past here, and then the TikTok videos and stuff I've done, or a couple of years ago. I always talk about, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, but I need to do it too, and I know that. I'm not just speaking it. I'm like, no, I'm trying to do that actively myself, because I have to always remember and think about it, like, no, this is not necessary.
Yeah,
Keep pushing forward.
That's where one of the things is your friend and is your brother is I try to guide you and help challenge you. That's why I call you up every once in a while. I'm like, hey, remember, let's go bro challenge right now. And speaking of challenges, so I'm going to pause here for a second and interject this one to kind of promote. I redid the website today. So if you go check out www.tonedingofreeman.com, you will see the new pictures, the new gallery. We have a new mission as an experience as a whole to outreach to the community. And we are going to start with the Elizabeth Freeman Center in Great Barrington by bringing awareness to what they have going on out there and trying to do a little bit of fundraising by getting in contact with some folks.
What's
So
that link
if you go on
again?
the website, you can check it out.
What's the link again?
www.tonedingofreeman.com.
Bingo. Hey, is there any way you guys can get my website on here somewhere too?
Yes, I will get everything. You can verbally promote your website right now. Tell us that one, but in the comments of the YouTube under the description, I'm going to tagline you and everything, my friend Dan, and I will put every link to everything that you do for doing this with us.
Dude, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's just
That's
human
what we do
design.
as artists. We bring people 360 degrees around to one another to help each other out in some way, shape, form, or another. That's life. That's love. We're
And
learning.
met some amazing people through it.
That's what amazing people do, man. It's
we're going to
right.
continue to grow the awesomeness that is put forth to me in the path that I see. So boom, continue.
So it's just humandesign.com, humandesignadvantage.com. That's our website, and it's Human Design Advantage with the @ symbol in front of it on Instagram and probably Facebook, and it's Human Design Advantage. Wherever you go, that's what it'll be. And I have my own Instagram. It's just Danny Guru HD for Human Design. So @ Danny Guru HD, you can see that there too. But everything goes back to HDA, Human Design Advantage, and we're on YouTube as well. Oh, we finally got an episode struck.
Yay.
I read the chart of Dr. Robert Malone, just because we read celebrities or villains. Someone's a villain, I read it out there and I see where did they go wrong, and if someone's just someone we feel like looking at, we just check out how they lived out their design or not. And it was fun. And YouTube didn't like that. We liked Robert Malone so much, so they nixed that episode. We've got almost 100 episodes up now of various things, and we finally got one next. I thought that was
not too bad.
Little bad.
It lasted that long.
Yep. So
am I on the right website? The Enterprise is chilling up there.
Yep.
Center. Okay. I just want to make sure, because when that opened, I'm like, is this the right? And then I saw your name under the services too.
Yeah.
Now, I also have a friend of ours who's been on the show. He's Sam Seaver. He's a wonderful guitarist, singer, vocalist. I shot the tribute show with him for 138 up in Salem for Chris Corkum, Hardcore Chris. Anyway, he is interested in getting a reading from you. So I'm going to link you and him up together. He could tell you about his situation, and it's going to be great. You're going to love it.
He can book right online.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him all the info,
Yep.
and I'm gonna send him your way. So
And we're close, so I'm sure we'll all be getting together at some point in time. I love to hang out and do a thing. So let me move on with some more stuff about you, Doc.
Absolutely.
So now we know that this is part of a thing that is always going to be, you're grounded by this. In other words, You're grounded by this ability to basically transcend the limitation through the basic sudden ordering of putting things, of getting past that difficulty at the beginning.
Right.
So and again, if you were 5 years old, imagine how much you would just now, and your mom comes along and just says, no, sweetie, it's just difficulty at the beginning, and makes it be a strength of yours, a power you have, that you get to work through this and look at the reward on the other side after the difficulty at the beginning.
Right.
Mom didn't have those words. I didn't have those words for my kids, or else, whatever. And same with my parents. So the other thing about another thing about your chart is, let's go back to your chart real quick, the picture of it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that I didn't have it over there.
And tell me if you think is there anything on there that you're curious about?
For me, it's not anything. The one thing I'm curious about, it's just the entire damn thing. And there is so much on there. I mean, I feel that you could spend hours explaining, if not more, the depth of all of that. That I'm looking at the image right now. And just from what you've said so far, we're still looking at the little bottom section there. I'm like, and then all of the other, I'm like, that's just intense. It's fantastic. I just want to.
Incredible what this thing tells us. It's just incredible. So right next to that channel, there's a gate number 53. Do you see that black gate? 52. Yep, 52. I meant 52. My bad. Just to the right of it. Just to the right on the brown center, there's a gate number 52. It's got a black line coming off of it.
Right there.
That's it. Yep.
Yep. Sorry.
Notice that doesn't connect to the other side. That's not a completed life force. However, it's totally an aspect. This gate is called sitting still. This is the I Ching called it still mountain. The still mountain, standing still mountain is what the I Ching called it, and we just call it the gate of stillness. This is the same adrenaline energy that allows a rabbit to freeze and be perfectly still.
Okay.
It is an adrenalized, I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it's an adrenalized energy you have, so that when you get caught in those moments of where suddenly ordering has taken place, you can sit still and hammer the stuff out.
Okay.
Does that sound, I'm just reading an aspect here. Does that sound true to you?
Okay.
Physical stillness.
Well, no, I understand that. What the part I'm not understanding is the misconnection there. Like, okay, how does that change what you're saying about the stillness? Because it's not the same as 60 there. It's not a nice direct connection with it.
With the gate above it, it just means it's not an entire life force. If you had the gate 9 above it, I have a gate 9 in my chart. When we come together, we would make this whole channel. That's another thing we do. We put our design into the other, and now, and this can start to give us the mechanics of why some people we like and some people we don't. It's all here in the mechanics. We come together. So this whole channel would be the channel of focused concentration, the ability to obsess about details. But because this gate is missing in you, this is what I want to get. This is the cosmic mind fuck. We try to be the gates and the centers and the things that we are not.
Right.
It's a natural tendency because we didn't grow up according to our nature. So gate 9 is all about literally taming all the details into one thing. So when someone piles a bunch of details onto you, it's not that you're excited about taming them. It gets scary.
I hate it.
Yes, because you don't have that whole channel. It's not like you're the taming power of the small gate 9 that creates this incredible, talented, focused concentration on every little thing. And you guys ever see Blades of Glory, where that guy says, "No one can obsess like me, Jimmy. No one can obsess like me, Jimmy." Well, that's a 52-9 talking. That is a channel of concentration speaking. When someone says that, that's what that energy is. I mean, other things too, but it is this. So, but as soon as you don't care and don't think about it, this magnetic pulse comes through you, and suddenly you're making order out of things. And there's Doc. There's Doc Holliday, all calm, freaking figuring it out, taming with a taming power of the small.
And it can happen.
But it only happens once in a while.
Yep.
So again, if your mom had this, she could come along and tell you that. Oh, but it only happens once in a while. It's a very special, she would call it magic. Every once in a while, it's magic. It shows up now and again, and it will show up as long as you wait for it. Yeah. So that's the type of thing that you could have integrated as a young child that now sometimes you find yourself trying to force it.
Right.
Initiate. That's every time I say force it, put the word initiate in there. We generators compulsively try to initiate things to make them happen rather than sitting in a backwards position, reoriented in a responsive manner that says, no, I'll wait until the energy shows up. That's not what we're used to. We're used to having to make it happen. Our parents told us to make it happen. Society told us to.
I was going to say, society's the more overbearing, I think.
Oh my God. It's the worst. Yes.
Hey, I'm part of it too. I've done that before. I've
Me
told
too.
people that. It's like, no, just you've got to make it happen. It's like, not necessarily. It's not that black and white. It's not that easy.
No. So go up on this picture a little bit. Let's look at this other life force that you have that you can rely on. And it goes from 57 up. It goes from that brown triangle on the left, which is the spleen.
Oh, Jesus. So 57.
57, and it goes all the way straight up to gate 20 in the throat center.
Yeah.
So gate 20 in the throat center is all about right now. So Doc is always generating energy to move potentially right now. Someone trying to call me? What is this? It's always about right now.
It's
The penetrating.
I don't have a lot of, what normal, people say energy, being able to get up and move around a lot. But if somebody wants to go, I want to go because I just don't like staying.
Well, what this is, and it's not necessarily the energy to move right now. It's just,
no, that's what I'm saying.
It's the awareness that as soon as you can it's the channel of penetrating awareness. That's what this life force does. It takes the intuition of the spleen, which can penetrate even into the future. I'm not talking it's a crystal ball. I'm just talking about that sixth sense that we all get where suddenly, holy crap, we were right.
Right.
You have so much definition in this center. Look at how many gates you have to find center. It's the busiest center in the body graph. You are Dr. Splenic. That means super fast. You're Mr. Rapid Choose. Not that you always choose well rapidly, but I'm just saying it's this penetrating intuition that you instinctually have that grows a great depth that is able to, at the end of the day, in the now, know what is good for you and what isn't. So this whole center here has been the center that's kept the information over and over again that Doc has. Every time Doc did something and 2 hours later, he says, shit, I knew it. I shouldn't have. I knew I should have turned left. This is the kind of penetrating awareness that Siri says, no, turn right. You got to go here. And suddenly you'll get radar and you won't listen. And you'll let Siri redirect or whoever's your navigation is.
Right.
Something just didn't seem right. So no. And you have this, you walk up to a door and it's like, I don't know if I want to go in. Someone calls you and says, hey, let's go do this thing. You're like, I'm not sure if I want to do it. It's about this caution. You have all this definition together makes this caution about whether or not you're really willing to leap into the thing that you're looking at with enough temptation that leaves you aware that it is or isn't healthy for you. And when you truly listen to it, you'll start to hear it's only there in the moment. If you're not listening and your mind is clouding it up, the next thing you know, you'll miss it. Those are the moments where you have, I knew it. Now you can start to realize you did know it. I shouldn't have gone in there. I got a cold. I shouldn't have picked up that thing and blah, blah, blah. You know what? I was picking between lighters and one of them I knew was dead. So I picked the other one. You know it. It's a thing that is like penetrating, like you look at a wall and it's filled with sheetrock, so your view stops at the wall. But if you have this channel and all of this definition in your spleen, you have this capacity to basically see, I don't know if it's with your eyes or not, but you see an inch or two beyond the wall, an inch or two deep into the drywall. Again, it's not a crystal ball. It's not magic. It's called intuition. Now we all have it. And so for you, a lot of fears come out of here. There's a fear of inadequacy. There's a fear of taking on too much responsibility. There's a fear of having to challenge too many things and authority trying to tell you what to do. I can tell you right now, when you got divorced, you did not want to be told what to do anymore, is my guess. Is that true?
I've followed you on everything here. That one is hard for me to follow that thought process because I was the one who for 15 years was telling someone else what to do. So now after that fact, since then, I don't like being told what to do, and now if what's that?
Switch your screen.
Oh, yes, sir. He wants me to be face to face again.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
There you go. Go on, interact.
But no, I was the one that was telling somebody what to do. When I worked, no, I didn't like doing that. Didn't like people telling me what to do. If they were instructing me, that's different. If they're just telling me what to do, no.
Right.
And then
because
my convention.
It's a severe design to challenge authority. That's why it has a fear of authority, because sometimes it needs to challenge the authority. It's not looking forward to having to challenge.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So it's both. And that fear of authority is an awareness. It's not there to be like, oh my God, I'm so afraid, and live that way. It's there
Right.
to go through and be like, oh shit. You know, it's sort of like every time you see a mafia scene and someone walks into the wrong place at the wrong time. Oh shit. You know, this authority can kill me. And they try and, oh, thanks. I didn't see any faces. I don't know anything about it. That's a very healthy fear, and it keeps us alive. The spleen is our immune system. It keeps us alive. You're heavily splenically oriented. You get these immediate hits, these intuitive survival style hits. And it doesn't have to be survival like in the jungle where it's life and death. Surviving the conversation, surviving the moment, surviving the bad mood you have, surviving the stupid incident, whatever, surviving the cop pulling you over. It's always this behavior that sort of just shows up, intuitively aware what to do, yes sir, no sir, and there you are, always alert in the moment. In fact, this is the design of a great military man. Did you ever serve or do any of that?
Oh, no. I never had the cojones.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
I say that straight up. I'm like, no, I never felt I had that kind of thing in me.
No, me neither. Actually, they tried to recruit me when I was little. I'll never forget. I was like, no, thank you. Plus, I have to come here.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in the process and I broke my foot and tried not telling my recruiter about it. They don't take kindly to that one, dude, when they find out.
Good job, Don.
Yep, good job.
Yeah.
Dodged the bullet, quite literally.
Brought me here.
Yep. So anyways, this penetrating awareness is something you can count on. It's why you always have something to say back, because it defines the throat center. Someone says something and suddenly there's Doc with something to say back. It's very rare that you're just totally stuck unless you're at a brain surgery conference.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Well, it's a blessing. And the only
it depends on who you talk to.
Well, I'm talking to you, and it is a blessing, bro, because now you get to start to realize the only thing that's ever missing with this penetrating awareness you have of exactly what to say and become consequential in the moment. That's what you're doing. Sharply pierced comes through this penetrating, a gentle awareness inside of our body that's so sharp in the moment that it becomes so consequential that the only thing you really end up having to do is pay attention to the timing. And that you're intuitively aware of as well. So you start to get out of the head trip of, I think I want to say it. And you start allowing the chemistry in your body to give you the chemistry that it is and says, oh yeah, no, this is what we're saying. Sometimes it just bursts out of your diaphragm. You can't stop that. You're not in charge of that. That's how helpless we are to these body graphs. But now you can start to witness, you know what, the timing's not right. I don't have to convince this person of this thing right now. I don't have to mention this thing right now. It didn't matter. This person's not listening. So rather than get pissed off by trying to say it and then being ignored, it's just not the right timing. And that's not easy, because we're old now. We've been conditioned. If we were 3, 4, and 5, we could have, all this stuff would have been learned like a language, a life language that we would just intuitively have instilled into us. This knowledge is here for children. You and I are all a bunch of old fucks, and we all got chips on our shoulders. You know what I mean about this and that and whatever.
But we're gonna fight as hard as we can to use it in the rest of our life. And if we don't, then we're idiots. But we're gonna do it.
Yes.
And we always got to figure out that timing. That's one of the things that you and I recently talked about a lot, is the timing of things going on in our life right now.
There's a lot of timing that has everything to do with how and when we articulate and what we express, because 99% of our impact on everyone else is the shit we say. When we say it. I mean, think about it. How much time are we physically impacting somebody? Not that often. All the rest of the time, it's in the stuff we say and write and externalize and verbalize. So,
words matter.
You add all that stuff up, and you start to realize, wow, I'm a verbally sharp potential gunslinger with a lot of power to keep saying what I'm saying. Loads of it.
And sometimes it's on point, and I acknowledge it when I'm on point, and I love it.
Isn't
I
it?
things like little lines written down upstairs, things I like think to myself, I'm like, oh my God, did somebody else say that before me? Or did I just come up with something wicked? It was like, the one I always remember is a moment is fleeting, but its impact can last a lifetime.
Yeah.
Like, that just seems like something you see in a book or something. I'm like, did somebody else say that? If
Probably
not, I love it.
going all the way back to Mark Twain, probably a dozen people said it in various different ways.
Oh yeah, and that's
It's
what I'm
so
saying.
true.
Yeah. The concept of the line has been said probably way back millennia,
Right.
but those words are just like, oh my God. So yeah, my bumper sticker
Well,
material.
but
I need
it's
to tell
still,
Matthew McConaughey about this.
think about what that's happening in that moment. You have this generative energy that can sustain at now being alive in that moment where you just transcended the old limitation with the new thing that created order.
Yep.
See how simple it is. Very mundane order. You simply, in that case, you just simply understood a phrase. Oh yeah.
But that's the thing, is you have to understand. You have to be able to stop, think about it. That it's one of the things. It's so basic, but you got to stop to acknowledge these things, because everything you're saying here, it's all a matter of self-awareness.
Mm.
And I'm like, why does everybody struggle with that? I'm not saying you know yourself completely, but do you ever really sit and try and figure yourself out and why you do the things you do? And if not, why not? It's so much change comes from it. It's just, it's phenomenal stuff.
Can we play a little experiment while you're saying that? Because what you're keynoting at the tip of the iceberg of what is true in the human body graph. One is our body is given an imprint. That's what's in red. And the other is our personality, our self-reflected consciousness is separate from our body. And that's given a separate imprint. That's what's in black. At the time of your birth, these two imprints are yeah, thanks. Just a hair more. There you go. At the time of your birth, the imprint on the left was information that had been stored from 90 degrees of the sun before your birth. At the time of your birth, the information in black is the information that happens to be pouring through at the time. So there's about 88 degrees of arc of the sun separate between these two sets of information. They come together in your body graph to create a holistic life through the genome and the chemistry. But make no mistake, the black personality stuff is who we think we are. And the red stuff is the stuff that comes out of a tunnel, as is who is the rest of who we are. And until these two things truly know each other, we end up with lots of pain and chaos, or we end up in the mystical moment of awe when you keep recognizing, why do I do that? That's you, your self-reflected personality, separate from your actual physical body, witnessing that your body seems to say stuff. You seem to do things. Something seemed to take place. And it's because these two things are working together. So we are separate. And if you look on your body graph, that channel of penetrating awareness in you, half of it's red.
For me, sometimes the not knowing ourselves in the moment is part of not knowing the known. So knowing the unknowns,
And the mystery and the majesty of finding out, right, Tone? That's what you're referring to. Yeah. Well, just by knowing our body graph, we never leave and get rid of that, because everything still keeps coming in at the moment.
Yeah, because one of the things that I'm learning is to enjoy the little moments, understanding the bad and going through the pain, because you know what, that good is going to be so awesome to hold on to when that good does happen. And that's the fleeting thought that I'm like, oh, yep, I'm hurting right now, but you know what? Bright sunshine is right around the corner. Let's go get it.
It's always right around the corner. And that's what every generator is here to know. We are existential beings. We're supposed to be here in the now, oriented into a responsive state like we were when we were children. And that's basically how we got taken away from our nature. That nature of yours, that with that gate number 20 in your body graph, Doc, with it being red.
Oops, that's my email. Sorry.
Yep. With it being red, that gate 20 out of the throat is red. And then the gate 57, that makes up the other half of this channel.
Yeah.
20 there, 57 there. Yep. So gate 57 is part red, part black. That means part unconscious, part conscious. And gate 20 is all red. It's totally unconscious. It's the stuff that was imprinted for your body's chemistry. What that does is that draws what you're going to say into the now, quickly, sharply. It's the speediest thing. That's why I said you'd be a good military man. That's why I asked, because this is the design of a good first responder. just an immediate response intuitively in the moment over and over.
As far as a military standpoint, I'm sorry to interject here.
Yeah.
Doc does kind of have a lot of the mentality that I have. Is we have this phrase that we say is always lead, never follow. And he has that mentality ingrained in him too, that to be the leader if he has to be in whatever group situation he can be, if that's the role he fits into.
And that is a battle in and of itself, man.
Yeah.
Because I feel it and I'm like, just do it, just do it, just do it, just do it. Because I have to force myself, but I feel it. It's there. I'm like, I know this is and it just, yeah. And it works when I do it right.
It works when you do it now. And it works when you do it as a responsive state. You guys remember the TV show Kung Fu? Kai Cheng Ken?
Oh, yeah.
Put the metal things on his arms and gave himself those snakes for tattoos burned into his arms. He was an archetype of what it was to simply live now. And that was why no one could ever kick his ass, because always in the now. He was always had that. So that was Hollywood archetyping us, not realizing that they were calling out how we're designed.
Right.
And so it's not an exalted state. It's a now state. We can't live in it all the time, by the way. We have to think about the future. You're big on the future. We have to think about the values that are good for things. And we have to go over the past and figure it all out. All of these things, we still have to do it all. But in the moment, we have to live in the now. And with if you're a generator, that means you're here to have responsive power in the now. And that's where your truth is. So now we're getting to something that's a strategy you can use. If you scroll up on this picture a little bit, and then we'll have you come back full center, you see how those numbers at the very top, that's the sun, earth. It's gate number 50 and gate number 3. That's the sun and the earth. See how it's dot 2, point 2?
No, I'm trying to find 50 right now because
It's at the very 60. Top on the black.
Over here. Oh, yeah. Wow. Sorry. I'm looking at these numbers. I'm like, where? Go ahead.
So 50.2 and 3.2. That's your sun, earth. These are this drives about 70% of us into us. And then on the left-hand side, you see 56 and 60.4. These are, again, gate numbers that determine, how we're going to see this whole thing play out. So you can come back to full screen if you want. I'll just label these. No, I mean with yourself. So I can talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bloop.
I'll just bring them back up visually in our mind's eye. There was just 4 numbers and I can just say them.
That's true.
That dot 2 and that dot 4 create something we call a profile. You're a 2-4 profile. I forget which one are you, Josh? Which profile number are you, Tone?
Oh, I don't remember. I'm over here eating pork rinds. I'm sorry.
Oh, Jesus.
That's all good. I'll find it. Let's see if I can't find it easily. Joshua. Here you are. Joshua. You're a 1-3. Okay, so that's why Tone is always doing all the investigating, and here you are, the natural, just floating around with it. So if you're a 2-4 profile, what the second line says is, hi, I'm a natural. I don't know why I know what I know. I can't tell. Don't ask me. Don't try to influence me. Don't tell me what to do. I can't tell. And if I'm naturally good at it, then just take that for what it is. That's what the second line says. It doesn't necessarily want to be influenced. It's partly a hermit, fully, totally. So, yeah, me too. I'm a 2-4 as well. We're perfectly happy being alone most of the time.
Most of the time, yeah.
Well, not all the time. We're not meant to be lonely. It's just that we're perfectly happy. If we're in a setting where there's other people, we carve out a space that becomes our own little hermit. We get terribly annoyed if people continue to interrupt our hermitness. And it's like, what do you want? That's when we turn the phone off and we just have to shut everything off because we don't. The second line is there as a natural, obtuse to much, so that when the unique thing comes along that no one else notices, that second line grabs the foundation of what the first line showed up with and is able to run with it naturally. So Doc has always noticed that while you're not good at everything, every once in a while, people project upon you that you might be naturally handy at this, that, or the other. And it's like, and suddenly you don't even know that you have that natural knack. It just shows up. It's like, I guess I had a knack for that. That's interesting. There's a great uncertainty that comes with it. The uncertainty.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I don't know.
Self-doubt and uncertainty.
Now, why am I good at that? Am I really good at that? Is that really true? Da da da. You can't, because it comes out naturally. Humanity has a proclivity, a genetic proclivity to have 1/6 of us have a personality that says we're just naturals at various things. Let us be naturals at things. That's the thing. Don't try to put us into a square peg into a round hole with anything else. It won't work. And it gives the lesson to the rest of humanity. Don't do that to the other types either. The second line is here to teach us, hey, some stuff is just naturally the way it is. And when we really get to know it, even employers will start to stop trying to make people do a job, and they'll try and tailor a job for something they're naturally, organically good at.
Right.
And what's neat is when Doc and I do the best things, just natural and organically, and just flow. Like this is our first episode coming into March, but really it's our second, because last Sunday we did the impromptu episode and it flowed great, organic, natural. It was awesome.
It's just, this is something you can count on. And there's aspects to the second line you can count on, that it's a bit of the Democrat. So basically, Doc is like, everyone's like, well, we're painting the house blue. And if you don't have a serious objection to blue, you're a Democrat. It's like, oh, okay, you guys decided that. Fine, go ahead, paint the house blue. Not that you want that, but I'm just saying you can.
I would.
See, well,
you see the room, the walls behind me? Yeah.
I guess that
blue's my
sense.
jam.
Yeah.
My nails are blue.
Dude,
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. That's stupid. So just imagine the Democrat that's willing to basically go along with most things, as long as you're able to stay with your own little trip, because second lines are busy with their own little trip. It's like, you punish a second line kid and say, you're in trouble, go to your room. Suddenly, as soon as the shock of being in trouble is over, 2 minutes later, you're happy as a pig and shit in your little room. It's no longer punishment because you're a hermit.
That's my kid too. We literally took all his toys away when he was about 5. We pulled every toy out of his bedroom. Our closet was overflowing. Told him to go to his room, lay in bed. He did. He didn't shed a tear. He was just in there by himself, singing, talking to himself. He had nothing in there. He was fine with it. So we gave up. We're like, whatever, take all the toys back.
Right.
For him, that's how it was. But
we should look up his chart. This is here for children, so that adults, even if they have to go, we have to go through a deconditioning process. I'll tell you this stuff now, and then over time, we'll be back to the till and back to the till, Doc, and we'll be seeing it over and over. And same thing with you, Josh, and all of us, man. I'm not quitting. I hope to, raise up more readers so it can be more than just me. There's probably only about 1,000 or 500 of us on the planet right now that can read fluently.
Yeah, let's do this. I mean, the
Yeah,
more
we
we learn and
need
grow
an
together,
army of us. We
the
need
happier
armies.
my life is.
So that 2/4, there's a very special quality that 2/4 has. It's wicked special. I can go into various things like its bonding strategy, shyness before boldness. But the most important thing, that second line quality it has, is because it's so innocently aligned with just hope, and it just can sit there and it can literally just wait, and it can be alone, and it's waiting for the call. That second line, its mystical property is it's always waiting to feel called into the next thing. And suddenly Doc turns into a flippin' freak because he got the call.
I literally sit, I would say every other week. And I think it to myself, I'm like, I'm stuck, but I don't want to wait for something to come. But when it does, I'm a there.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you made peace with the waiting.
Yeah, I have. It
so,
took a long time.
Yeah, but that's what they teach us when we're growing up. They teach us away from our nature, and which is out of waiting. And they teach us into trying to do and initiate, and then impatience comes along. And I always like to ask people, hey, what's the reward for patience? I ask people. Most people think about that for a minute, and then I answer with patience. Patience is the reward for patience.
Right.
So that's the second line. Second line needs to be called. It's a hermit. It's not even really interested in the other per se. It's just busy about its own little trip and its own little imagination, waiting to be called. And then all that generative energy comes out. Yeah. The fourth line, on the other hand, it makes the duality. That's your body's consciousness. So remember I said there's the consciousness we're aware of, and then there's the unconscious, the body's intelligence. Mm-hmm. Well, that second line, hermit you totally identify with, because that's what's in black.
Right.
But representing the red side is that .4, the 56 and the 60.4.
Yeah, geez,
56, 60.
Yeah, it goes. It keeps going.
So what happens is that .4 makes you the fourth line. So you're a 2/4, the hermit opportunist. That fourth line, which stands for the fourth line part of your profile, that fit at the very top are the sun and the earth glyphs, and it's 56 and 60.4 at the very top of that red row.
Yeah,
the red column. I mean, that 0.4 is the 4 of your 2/4 profile, and that says I'm a networker. I'm friendly. I'm friendly as all hell. I'll be friendly to you too. I don't even really like making enemies. You know what? And even if someone's a jerk, I'll at least leave a little space for them, because they might not be a jerk later. And it abdicates, and it's friendly, and it's networking. All it really wants to do is have its fixed trip get heard.
facts.
That is so you. I've seen that in so many situations.
Right,
bro. Like we do it at Comic-Con. We do it when we were involved in
super friendly. It's
Dude,
there.
I do it at Walmart.
Yeah,
I do it at Walmart. I was chatting with the girl at Dutch Brothers today. Found out she's 17. And it was just like she told me that we're talking about age. I'm like, it's just what I just talk. And
That's
they're
what fourth
friendly.
lines do. That's what fourth lines do. We're here to externalize what our little fixed trip got called into, because it's wicked important to us over time, and it makes us become influential. That's what the opportunist is waiting for. It's waiting to make an impact and become influential with anything. Why don't you come up back on screen and we can.
I know one thing I've learned about me since you and I talked the last time, Dan. We had our awesome moment on my drive home from here, that wonderful Friday too. Is that for me, I've learned it's okay, and it's okay to share my experiences with others, and it's okay to be vibrant, and it's okay to be me, because we only got one me. There's nobody else I know named Tone. There's nobody else I know that's as unique as I am, and there's as unique as Doc, or as unique as anybody I've known through this circle. So
who's planning on wearing a skirt to Mad Monster this year again?
Are you? There you go.
I did last year, dude. I wore Danny Trejo and oh god, what was his name? One of the guys that played Jason. I don't know. Those are two tables I was working, because our lines got huge. Kane Hodder, that's what it was. I'm there in this purple, like flowing dress thing. I got nothing but compliments all day. I loved it.
That's too funny. A good friend of mine, an old past girlfriend of mine, we're still close, good friends. She loves Comic-Con. She's made it every year now for the past few years, so she says.
Yeah, I want to go this year coming up, and I would love to have a booth. Side note, and then I would love to get Dan to get back into it. I'm in the works to have a booth at the Berkshire's Busk event. It's the summer jam where everybody kind of goes through town. It's kind of like the whole First Fridays in Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, okay.
What we're going to do is, the plan here is I am going to do a live stream episode right there in the middle of wherever I am allowed to with my booth. And I'm going to DJ for an hour straight of it as well, and get other people and artists. I haven't DJ'd for some years, but
I was going to say that's been a while.
Set together, but this is the plan this summer. I'm going to bring the Tonesperience live to the Berkshires at Berkshire Bus, sponsored by the Miller.
Of course,
it's going to be a great time, y'all. There's going to be somebody painting faces at the booth. We're going to be accepting donations and giving 100% of those donations to the Elizabeth Freeman Center as well. Okay. Go ahead, please continue, Dan.
Dude, that actually sounds like fun.
It's a blast. If you love music and performers, you'll have a hoot coming out there.
Yeah, and plus I have friends up there. I'll ask Antoinette if she can go.
Yeah, come on down.
So the rest of that fourth line that you can count on is the opportunity to find the influence amongst others, and it's always your best. It just means you're a natural born networker. You're a natural friendly networker that doesn't easily let people out of the network so easily. So while other people are saying, that guy's a jerk, this guy, why do you hang out with them? Why do you still talk to them? You're like, dude, they're staying in my Rolodex. Okay. What's the big deal? We're just not going to invite them over to dinner every day. But to ask a 2/4 person he went, you're mute.
I am mute. Sorry. I was just real quick. When you're saying that, I'm like, there are several people that over the last, again, 8 years I became really good friends with, and I still care deeply about, even though one of them kind of vanished. I don't know where she went, but that I was told by multiple people reaching out to me saying, be careful about that person.
Right.
Don't trust them. And I'm like, just go. I'm like,
Right.
I already know her better than you think you know
But
her.
even when you don't, or let's say there's someone who's an acquaintance that's like they gave you a nice vibe, and then someone comes along and says something about that person, and you maybe even you noticed a thing, maybe you have an intuition about it all. It's still, we're friendly, we're networking, we're designed to fourth lines are designed to have a certain measure of abdication inside of conflicts, arguments, discussions, general goings-ons. Abdication means we step back and, all right, uncle, fair enough. Let's agree to disagree.
Yes.
Thing. And so we bring that energy onto the plane, thank God. However, people look at that over time and they call it, oh, you let that person walk all over you. You let that, and we hear that sometimes. Now that's a head trip. Sometimes we get caught up in that a little bit. It's like, I don't want to just be taken advantage of. It's like, no, you were measuring where you're going to be done abdicating, and you're going to get back into the intuition of responding and reacting in a way that is you. Maybe someone is sort of not treating you fairly in some kind of dealings or whatever. And then, nope, done. And that will get called out of you. Everything that's going to happen in your life will be called out of you as a great mission. You're Mr. Missionary. I would like to be on the mission. Where's the white horse? I'm on the move. Everyone's got to know it's the cool thing. That's the magic of I'm a 2-4 as well. That's the magic.
Gotta spread the word. Yes. Whatever the word is, I got to get the word out there. And I'm constantly trying to figure that out. And Tone knows this.
That's where the fun is. And think of what you're saying. You're keynoting how much you would like to make an impact and become influential on the thing that you now have a slightly fixed trip about, a thing that you zeroed in on, honed down, and you're now gaining mastery level by level by level, some kind of mastery over whatever the thing is. And we live a long life. So you'll gain mastery many times over many different things. And
I don't think Doc really remembers or really honestly knows how influential he was in the creation of the Tonesperience.
We never know,
because just about over a year ago is when it started, and I wouldn't be where I am, and I wouldn't have we wouldn't have this, whatever it is, together this year.
We wouldn't have had these, the memories with this stuff and have grown this thing. And no, we're not monetized. We're not huge, whatever it is. But you know what? We enjoy doing it. We've had some amazing people on. And
still got more to come.
And that's what I'm saying.
Guys, there's more to come. You can't stop the 2-4 profile. In fact, you can't stop right angle profiles.
The Tonesperience will not be stopped.
No,
now it is televised like it was forecasted.
Think about this. Now, it's our genetic proclivity. Think about this. What is it that makes a priest or a nun be called into the mission, willing to give their life in the sub-Saharan continent of Africa, where they could perish by a lion or be boiled to death by the Mohawks in the north of Canada? The Jesuits came to Canada and the Mohawks boiled them in oil. And the ones that were 2-4 profiles went down holding their rosary, clinging to the exact thing that called them there in the first place. It impressed them. They were impressed. They're like, wow, these guys, they cling to their fixed trip. They're what can make someone get called into that? It's this energy. It's the second line energy. So that it also makes the Unabombers of this world too, So it's
you got to take the bad with the good. You got to take both. So
as we wake up as a species,
you give it back, and there you have.
It's always about the facts, man. The facts of life.
The facts of life.
So this is a beautiful energy called into the thing that we plan to externalize within our network, where we become influential. Allow that to unfold and just recognize it's all a matter of timing. You can't rush the pulse. The pulse happens independent of our will. So just these two things alone let us know I don't need to sit on a psychologist's couch dealing with a thing that I think is a problem. It's not. I'm currently in an active state of awareness waiting. And that's what we're always doing. So this last thing that I really want to go over in all of this, and then maybe answer some questions, because there's more to do. We should do it on a phone call where I can record it and send you the rest of it. Is this generative energy inside of you? I said you're a generator. So there's 4 types: generators, manifestors, projectors, reflectors. We make up the majority of the planet. We're about 70%, between 2/3 and 70, depending. And it holds that way no matter what, because the world is generated. We are generators because that red box, second from the bottom, is defined in our body graph. You can just look at it. That's called the sacral. And if you have a sacral defined in your body graph, you're a generator. What does that mean? That means we have a strategy that allows us to interface with all of this chemistry. Don't forget everything I've said now. When you said you notice, you intuitive, you feel called, everything I keep referring to is you feel called, you feel friendly. How do you feel something unless the genome has expressed its wisdom onto the chemistry that allows you to then cognitively become aware that you felt that way? It's all genetic. And you don't feel anything until a chemistry happens in your body that you can feel in the first place. So everything, I'm pissed, I'm mad, I want to whip this thing, Oh, I'm laughing. Oh, you know what? I don't know. I can't tell what I want to do. Shit, I'm confused. You don't get to have any of these feelings until a chemistry is taking place. And all chemistry is ruled by the program called the genome. The genetic construct in our body tells every atom where to go and where to place itself, what membrane to make, what chemistry to release, on and on. So if you're a generator, you have this guaranteed strategy that you can tap into at any time. It's called waiting to respond. And it's part of the experiment. You learn to experiment with yourself when you're trying to make something happen, where you get resistance, or or the opposite, when you're surrendered into this responsive state that says, I don't know. It's always, I don't know. In fact, your definition is all individual. So it's always, I don't know. You never know until those brief moments when you totally do know.
Yes. Yep.
That's okay. Have you ever thought that was a problem?
I've always acknowledged that it's a struggle. I don't think I've ever thought to myself that, my God, this is an issue. I think it was always been like, damn it. Okay. I have to accept and then push. And it's this constant struggle.
Good generator. That's a healthy generator, because that's what ends up being true. Life can be difficult. Now, get this down onto the micro level. That responsiveness is your truth. The sacral is a diaphragm that is keynoted with sustainment. It pours sustained sacral energy. Now, don't forget, it's the testicles and the ovaries. So when we say it's the life force, I mean, it's those organs in our body. They're vibrating all of this function up to the surface that we then act out with the calories we burn from the stuff we eat. So it's all very much these are mechanics. This diaphragm is keynoted with sustainment because it just sustains energy day in and day out. And every time it goes to sleep, it regenerates itself awake in the morning. And then it's just the energy to move through the day all day until you're finally exhausted, go to sleep. That energy is doing something else. It's sustaining at being able to vibrate a response out of your body in a moment, as fast as chemical electricity can afford. So as fast as a battery turns on a flashlight is how fast this intuitive responder is telling you good, not good, yes, no, safe, not safe. And it's talking in a binary. And it's saying yes and no, to everything over and over again. So doc, that's your truth. And the last one to remember that was your 5-year-old, your 4-year-old version of yourself. Yeah. Mom yells out the window, honey, you want some chocolate ice cream? There's no awareness in There's responsiveness. And it comes from the sacral, which is just below your belly button. It's just this thing that forces air out of us. It's like our diaphragm. Late at night, your dad says, it's getting late, son, you want to come in? Notice your dad asked. I'm in this example, I'm pretending he asked, do you want to come in? Right. If your parents were aware in that moment, they would have gotten together and go, look at that little miracle of sunshine. It just gave us his truth.
Right.
They didn't know to do that. What did they know to do? The kid's always going to say no. Now we have to start telling them.
Right.
It wasn't because they didn't love us. They just needed expediency they need to take everything. Had they known, they would have forced themselves to ask yes or no for every last thing through the first 14 years of life, minimum.
Right.
21 preferably, so that the kid could get ingrained into its genome, cellular cycle after cellular cycle, that I must be asked for my power. I must be asked.
Right.
So later in life, you can't get told what to do. So My guess is in that marriage, before you guys finally broke it off, there were plenty of problems, but you didn't get out then. You didn't get out till the end, right?
Oh, it wasn't me getting out. She didn't get out till the end. It was
However
her
it
getting
worked,
away
you
from
guys,
me. But yeah, that's what it was. And yes, you are correct.
right. So all that time there was responsive truth. I hate it. I don't want to be here. I don't like it. Right?
Oh yeah.
How many of them didn't you listen to before you finally listened?
Oh, I'm sure that
All of them. That's the joke. That's because me too.
like that was a rhetorical question.
It was, yeah. Sorry about it, because it was the same with me when I got asked that question. It was like, well, how many? And the joke was all of them.
Yeah.
We didn't listen to enough, because if we had, we would have done something. But our 5-year-old didn't spend that. I don't want to come in. I told you no.
Right.
That's the kid's truth. It doesn't mean the parent doesn't go out, hey kid, it's late, streetlights are on. You do got to come in, but at least you asked. That's the point. And you start making that deal with your generator child. I'll always ask, even though I know the answer. Do you want to clean your room? Oh, no. Wow, big surprise. Okay, well, I'll come around and ask again at least once or twice before I have to tell you. So that
it would be a really well, not really well. It'd be a great idea for like a expectant parent to contact somebody such as yourself, so that after their kid's born, they know all the information you need. Let's get this sort of plan.
Yeah.
It's like this map that at least is a good idea, but does that not work?
No, it's so hard. Well, we need to get that to expecting parents. Absolutely. We need to get that to anyone who's a parent of a generator child.
Right.
And all the other types too. But if you're a generator child, you start to, what happens is you see your child respond, you give them permission to respond with their truth, and then they start telling you the truth. Not only that, you start changing your tune as a parent, because as you start to realize that is their truth, you start to realize ways to give them what's true for them. Suddenly it's not, oh, the selfish brat wants this. It's like, you know what? No, that's dude, get out of my way. I'm giving this to my kid, and don't tell me how to parent. You know
One
what?
of the things that hit awesomely home for me when you and I spoke last, Dan, was the yes or no question exercise.
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
That's why the kid story precedes that. So that kid was always right, is the point. And so how I try to prove that to people is I try and show them the gap between the mind torturing you with thinking about the yes or no question, and your yes or no question, and the truth that's sitting there as just an instant 5-year-old truth. You want chocolate ice cream? You want to dig a hole? Sure. You're building a fort? Yeah. Did you stop building the fort? Right. Because that's what kids do.
Yeah.
They act out their truth, and then we beat it out of them.
Yes.
By accident.
Of course. I don't think a parent is consciously thinking it, at least you'd hope not, but yeah.
Right. So what is it that's tearing us away, this mind of ours? Go back to your chart real quick so I can show you the biggest thing that tears you away, and it's at the top.
There we go.
So at the top, you got those two triangles, one pointing up and one pointing down, right?
Yep.
So that top one is your head center. It's our pressure to be inspired. It's our pressure to translate everything, to translate who am I, to translate what the hell. We have a genetic pressure that comes in the form of doubt, mystery, not knowing in the now, and confusion over the past. It's perfect for us. It pressures concepts. And then the triangle pointing down is the ajna center. It's the if the top is the deep gray area and the pituitary, the bottom triangle pointing downward is the neocortex, this thing that conceptualizes. And it does our thinking for us. It's an awareness because it can measure. It's a beautiful concept maker. We're always making concepts. You love stimulating ideas that come from formulas. You love a formula that's a cool little pattern that suddenly turns into an idea you can express. And you have the stimulating way of expressing it. So you can count on that being a way that you have. However, is that true, by the way?
Well, if much like a lot of things, if I'm interpreting what you're saying, my career that I had is 15 years, wherever it was, I was taking CAD drawings from architects, then into drafters, then I would get CAD drawings and I would build 3D models out of those, light them, make them look beautiful, make them look real as we could. So I'm taking something, like you say, I could consider that sort of a basis, which kind of like a formula. You've got this thing, it's a basis to start from. I need that spark. But once I have that.
Gate 4 here is the gate of formulas. creating formulas. It's our natural proclivity to receive the pressure of doubt from above and suddenly be like, hey, there's a doubt. That means I need to be afraid of something a little bit. What's the formula here? What's the pattern? Oh, I got a pattern. Great formula.
Yeah.
Not afraid anymore.
Yeah, that's about right.
Or I'm happy with this, or it feels good. All of these various possibilities. And gate 56, that's in the throat center, that points up at this ajna center, is this gate of being stimulating with what it is you're about to say. It wants everything creatively, experientially, stimulatingly explained. And you did that through your CAD drawings, and you probably even did that to the people that you were working with when you first were telling them how you got it done in the first place.
Right,
So
right.
it's always a stimulating story coming out of that. That's designed to capture attention and stimulate. So, but these two centers are open. This whole process is intermittent with you. They're open. They're not defined. There's no life force going to them. You're open to all of this. So when the cat drawings came up and you had to turn them into something that turned into something else so that other people could read it in a larger scale, you were open to all the ways that formulas could come in, that you could then find a stimulating way to penetrate that drawing and do it right in the now and transcend the broken order of things. You can come back on screen and transcend the feeling of stuck and have it all turn into order.
Yeah.
So we're now keynoting your language. We're speaking in a language that's you. And so, but that open head center, it starts thinking about too many things. So unless you have something that you're totally focused on, suddenly that open head center, because it's open to the entire inspiration field of the planet. All the doubts, all the mysteries, all the confusions, they pour through. And suddenly you start thinking about questions that don't even matter. And now you're thinking about too many things. And now suddenly you find out a week later, God dang, I'm just, you know what? I was stuck thinking about things that don't matter.
Yep. I do that almost nightly, actually.
Well,
Things will start to pop up the last like 2 hours of the night. Then once I lay down in bed, I'm sitting there, it's going in my head. I'm like, just shut up already. It's all BS. Why are you even in my head?
Well,
and I'm able to push it through. But yeah, it's just, oh God.
That's amazing.
That four-letter word that I'm always pumping out at you, Doc. Remember that one? DOTS, DOTS. It's a little acronym for don't overthink shit. We are always our own worst enemy at overthinking everything. But sometimes we just got to remind ourselves.
Well, it's about the reminder. And now you'll start to see you are actually thinking about things that don't matter. You have a strategy. It's called waiting to respond. It's your power and truth comes out as a response. So does it really matter? Well, that open head system is there to think about all the things and to allow them to pass through. But it's also there to have the awareness that, hey, usually nothing matters in the moment, because it's all about what matters to my right now. That's all it's doing. What matters to my right now. And sometimes it's one thing or two things, but all the rest of it don't matter to your right now. Yes, you need eggs tomorrow. Sure, you need gas if you want to head over to Tone's place. None of that matters right now. You know, right now you're falling asleep, you know, for instance.
Hey, it's your tomorrow.
It's here tomorrow. And so you've gotten a healthy open head center always says, don't worry, it's here tomorrow. Whatever. If it's important, it'll show back up. That's the motto of a healthy open head center. What happens though, the not self of it that takes you into the frustration away from your nature, which can make you angry and frustrated, is fearing that it does matter. Getting stuck in the, oh shit, it does matter. So every once in a while you are plagued in, it does matter. So just recognize when you get there, even though it sucks, just sooner or later, you'll realize, oh, it didn't matter. Once again, what matters? My responsiveness in the moment. I'm a generator. I have a response.
That's what it is.
And now the next triangle is the open ajna center. This is trying to come up with concepts. It's under pressure to come up with concepts. The triangle pointing down, and it's got that one activation in it. So it is trying to come up with formula style aspects that it can explain. And so what happens as soon as the pattern isn't right, you're there concerning yourself with the certainty you don't have. That's what an open ajna, that's how it plagues us. What's it supposed to do? You can come back on screen if you want. What's it supposed to do? That open ajna, triangle pointing down, is simply trying to allow concepts to fly through. So you love listening to the concepts that can fly through, because suddenly, oh, they all flow through. Look at that. I can grab that. I'm open to this. You're open to the conceptual field. If someone has it defined, they're closed off to part of the conceptual field because they're now working. They're part of that conceptual field. So they're in their own narrow little definition of all of that. You're open to all of it. The head trip comes with with the anxiety over the lack of certainty. So the not self voice of this, who you're not, the healthy voice of it is, hey, I have uncertainty. Look at that. I don't know. The healthy expression of an open ajna center is the 9 out of 10 times when you don't know is saying it with ease. Oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Do you love me? Mostly, you know. That's
I don't
well, mostly. It seems like it. That's a great answer when you have an open ajna center, because you're still waiting for the love. What is love? I've got this concept going through. There's a lot of thoughts. Do they all matter? Am I thinking about things that don't matter concerning myself with the certainty I don't have over this dang question? Do I love you? Yes. So this happens over and over again. Think about things that don't matter concerning yourself with a certainty you don't have. And it's various cryptic degrees of amounts of that then turn into a cosmic bane of your existence and mental anxiety. The mind tortures us with thinking the answers. The sacral is ready to respond. Let me ask you some yes or no questions, and let's see if you can surrender and give me a topic, something that's going on in your life that may not be the topic.
Travel.
Travel. Oh, I love travel. This gives you a 2-4, so we're going to get to some real truth here.
He's about to come traveling up.
Yeah, well, no.
Summer.
So this is good. Surrender into no think responsiveness. Your choices are yes and no, or grunts and groans that indicate or That's it.
No.
Try not to qualify anything. I don't need explanations because I'm going to move on. What we're looking for is those delays in the responsiveness. So, and I don't know is a great answer. I don't know, maybe, sort of, kind of, can't tell. These are all I don't know, meaning they're neither yes or no. So here we go. Doc, do you like to travel?
Yes.
Okay. Do you always like to travel?
Yes.
Are you sure about that answer?
Yes.
Okay. Does it feel good when you travel?
Yes.
All right. Is anything a pain in the ass about traveling?
Oh, yes.
All right. Do you mind?
Do I mind that
when
there's
it's a pain in the
pains?
ass, yeah.
Yes and no. Depends on the severity. But yes.
Yeah.
It's a yes and no answer.
Okay.
So
Yeah. So are you supposed to travel sometime soon?
yes.
Can you say where that is so I can have a name?
France.
Okay, cool. Do you want to travel to France?
I've been there once.
Did you
Yes
notice?
or no answer? Do I want to? Yes.
Did you notice the mental anguish where your mind started torturing your responsiveness?
Yep.
So is there something in France for you?
Well, for my son,
Okay.
and as such for me, and I'm also interested. It's a war.
So you want to bring your son to
yeah.
France?
Yes.
Right. Are you dreading aspects of that trip?
I'm dreading the flight. Yes.
Cool. Is that okay?
Yeah. Hey, well, what are you gonna do?
Right.
You can't. You're going there. You're gonna have to be on the plane for a long time. So yeah.
So you're going to be on the plane for a while, but I'm just saying there's aspects that, so you're dreading. It's okay to dread that you're going to have to be on a plane. Right. So you're excited to go to France. You're going to bring your boy to France, right? Are you excited for stuff he's going to see over there?
Oh God, yes. It'll be his first time outside the country. And
Right.
what a place to go. I mean,
That
first day
feels so
Paris.
That feels feel good, right?
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah.
Do you currently have a girlfriend in your life or another partner?
No.
If you did, would you want to bring her?
Oh, well,
It would depend.
yes.
Yeah, it would depend.
Yeah.
You say yes. Is that a certain yes? Are you certain? of that?
Well, it depends. If I just started dating the person, if I had been dating the person for a while, then heck yeah, that'd be fantastic. One more person. I mean, everybody I've dated, my parents have gotten along with, they're going with as well. So
Right.
hey, that more,
Right.
More fun, whatever.
Well, speaking of dating, do you miss dating? Do you miss having the companionship of a girlfriend?
Absolutely, 100%. Yes.
Yeah. Do you need one to make yourself whole?
No.
All right. Do you want one because it feels like companionship?
Yes.
All right. Is that okay to want?
Yes.
Yeah. What happens if you don't get one? Are you going to be sad?
Yes.
Are you out looking currently?
That's a hard one to answer.
It is, isn't it? So I don't know.
Because it changes by the day.
It changes by the moment. Yes, right.
So,
We're fourth lines.
But I'm not always thinking about it though.
Right,
It's not always a thing I got to go out to do. It's like sometimes I do think.
Are you excited to let someone else occupy your space?
Yes.
All right. Doesn't it sometimes a little bit annoying when your hermit space gets interrupted?
since I've had experience over the last 4 years, yes and no. So sometimes
What we're
it's,
looking for is this immediate reaction that
I
comes
know,
out.
but there really wasn't one.
No, there wasn't, because you didn't know.
Yeah,
And that was the thing. And the little 5-year-olds, I don't know.
right.
What we're looking at is that speed of electricity, so you can start to see the gap. Look at it like a skip in a record. As I ask you yes, no questions, you start to recognize, were you in love with your last girl, with your wife? Were you ever in love with her?
Both.
Okay. Last
You
girlfriend.
said last girlfriend, then you said wife, so two different people. But
Yep. So last
yes.
girlfriend, you were in love with a girlfriend.
Yes.
Did you break up with her?
No.
Did she break up with you?
Yes.
Did that hurt?
Actually, no.
Did it feel good when you noticed it didn't hurt?
Yes.
Right. See, there's our sacral
Very
response.
good.
There's a sacral answer. Were you nervous that it
Yeah.
would feel good as it was happening?
It would confuse me at first because
Okay.
she broke up with me 4 times total in the relationship. It's
Mhm.
stupid. I played the fool, but nonetheless, it happened. So the last time it happened, I just felt kind of annoyed,
Right.
and I'm like, really, is this really happening? And then I
And then
walk
it's done.
away, and and a few, like 2 nights later, I'm like, ah,
You don't have to deal with that again.
whew. I'm like, it just, yeah.
When you see the role aspects of this 2-4 profile, you'll realize part of that is the bigot and part of that is the one that has people fatigue and wants aloneness. It's all cute stuff. What I was trying to get you to see then
Yeah, sorry.
is this difference between immediate response and suddenly your mind starts helping to measure that response. I noticed 3 or 4 spots when I was asking you where the mind was torturing you with coming up with the words. And it seems like it's supposed to be that way. So we all say, oh my God, it sort of has to be that way with certain things. But on yes, no questions, you'll realize there's a responsiveness that holds your truth, your actual truth for that moment, which will change moment to moment. That it can be one truth one moment, and then 10 minutes later, the truth can totally change. And it's up to us to give ourselves a break and not sweat ourselves over the fact that we just changed our tune. It's totally allowed. We get a big head trip over sticking with what you say. You're a little kid and you're building a fort, and the guy comes along or your dad comes along and says, that's a good fort. Look at that. And comes along an hour later and you're digging a hole and they ask, why did you stop? Why did you quit building the fort? And it's at moments like that we get conditioned. If you had the right language, it would be, I didn't quit, Dad. I fucking stopped. You know, but then we give ourselves a head trip over stopping thereafter, and we've given ourselves head trips over the stopping that we've done and thinking it's quitting. Oh my God, I'm a great quitter at this, or I quit that. No, we don't quit anything. We're generators. We stopped generating. That's all. And the last one with this infinite touch to that thing was, again, your child, your 4 and 5-year-old self that knew just to respond in the moment, yes and no, with whatever. And then you start to realize how quickly I got taken away from that nature. And now I have to think up every answer. And you don't. You have a responsive truth that becomes the experiment you're going to start witnessing. I have a responsive truth to every last flipping thing that comes by. A bug, a sound, a smell, a noise outside, the phone, the friend, the crowd, where I'm at, the trip to France. I have a response to everything. And it's unlimited. And you start witnessing those responsive truths versus the mental thinking about things that don't matter, concerning yourself with a certainty you don't have. And you'll see there's 2 separate worlds. One is the petty tyrant, that's who you're not. And the other is the generative truth that once you start seeing it, suddenly you start allowing that generative truth to always be there. You'll countermand it. You're going to be an experiment of just watching it. That's the experiment. Just witness truth or response, initiating and thinking, not truth.
I notice, because you're talking about how the brain, starts to throw other things at you. I mean, when I mentioned France and you said, are you excited to go? And that was the first time, because I was paying attention to my own response times, at least the beginning. Partway through, I lost track of it. But at that point, I recognized that I completely stopped dead in my tracks. Before that, it was yep. Oh, it's not okay. And it is because of a petty reason.
Yeah.
The flight is one thing. It's small, but that's not even that. It was the fact that I proposed to my ex-wife in Paris. So that's in my head as it's not a bad negative memory, but at the same rate, oh God, And I got to tell myself, shut the hell up. What does it have to do with anything? It literally has nothing to do with it.
You're
You just
telling the
enjoy the
conditioning.
moment, bro. Just like when you and I were in Alaska, you just enjoy the moment, no matter what else is going on in your life right then, dude.
So this is exciting. You guys both totally get it. I mean, I get it too. So this is what we're always after at the end of first reading, a first analysis, is to get a person into their experiment where they see the strategy that actually dials them into what the chemistry of their body is telling them. There's a chemistry, and it's called a response, an intuitive hit. It's like a hit that shows up immediately, and then you witness the split second. I call it a skip of a record later. A skip.
It makes sense though.
Yeah, it's long enough in time for us to hear it, and it ruins the stupid guitar solo, right? Fuck, skip right to the guitar solo. But it's short enough to where you let it keep rolling.
Yep.
That's about the difference of time. The response is immediate. The skip of a record later is the petty tyrant that is this mind. It's our old way. It's been conditioned into us. Mind used to be in charge. We used to make our decisions based on our mind. Our schools tell us to think about it, make a pros and cons list. You can do all that all you want, but the truth is still a response to that pros and cons list. The truth is still a response to somebody asking you yes or no, that pros and cons list. Then you'll find out what's really true. Where did I torture myself to answer? Where did I answer naturally just as, oh yeah, we're doing it. Are you sure? No, but we're doing it anyways. Okay, good generator. You answer truthfully. Most answers are we don't know.
And not knowing is okay.
Not knowing is fantastic.
Yeah. I may not know, but I have an idea.
Think of all the head trips you've had about not knowing. Or when I say you, all of us, this is like we're supposed to know. School teaches us we're supposed to know. Homogenized education, homogenized TV, they teach us we're supposed to know. No, we're not.
Yeah, and Doc,
we're generators. We don't know shit.
I can't see the path, and I don't know what's down the road for me. It mentally just jacks me all kinds of up.
Oh yeah, because he's so driven, and he has to keep moving, and he's got to have a mindset and just focus on at least one thing, if not a half dozen things. And so when you lost your pet there last year, that was honestly, for me, that was new territory. Yeah, like being on that side of it, I'm like, I hear what he's saying, but my God, I'm not in that situation where he's out literally away from everybody that he knows. And I'm like, I've got people around here. I got my parents here. I'm like, I'm lonely as hell. I know what he's saying, but I can't speak to where he's at. So what do I do? So I had to start thinking it through and how to respond to it. But
but the answer was there already. Is the thing. Our answers, I like to look at it like a set of instructions. It says screw the screw all the way in, right? So you screw the screw all the way in, and then the instruction says once it's snug, back it off 1/2 a turn. Okay, screws all the way screwed in, it's going to hold its load. The instruction said back it off 1/2 a turn. That's what we generators are. We've been taught to initiate, like the Nike commercial. Just do it. Go out, make it happen. Blah blah. What are you going to be when you grow up? Fuck you, Dad. I don't know. I'll respond to the right thing of what I'm going to be when I grow up. That's what I'm going to be, but what did we do? We gave him, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be, that's maybe in the moment, but we don't know if that's going to stay. And the bottom line with it is we don't know. And so like backing it off 1/2 a turn, we get out of initiating and we put ourselves into a responsive state. We're only backed off 1/2 a turn. We're still all the way screwed in, but we're lagged in. We're good. We're just backed off 1/2 a turn, waiting to respond to all the things. Your 2-4 profile is naturally shy before it's bold. Your 4 of that profile will naturally network with the right people. The right mate for you is going to show up as someone who is friendly. It always requires friendliness because that's part of your bonding and mating strategy. It's confidant or not, friendliness or not. And if they're not friendly, you have this resonance wave that will turn into meanness. It starts out with kindness, but if it goes too far, suddenly there's meanness it's in your heart, but it doesn't want to listen. It's the meanness that no longer wants to hear. That's what it is. Right. It's not like you're mean, you're ugly, or telling someone they're fat. You're not mean. You're not going to do that outside, out loud. It's inside your heart is what I'm talking about. That turns into won't listen. Don't want to hear it. Listen, you crazy bitch, I'm not listening. I just didn't vocalize that to you, but I'm currently actively not listening, because you're mad or whatever. But my point being, it's that resonance, that waffles. You'll feel the kindness in your heart when you're open up to the friendliness that then shows up in a woman, that shows up, that is able to break through the shell of yours that pulls you from shyness to boldness. And it's just a process of how ultimately you'll end up mating with the right girl.
But that's the thing is, everything you just said literally spelled out the first 6 months of 2019 after I met the last woman. Now, there's a lot of crap that came along with, a lot of struggles, a lot of BS, but I was in that shell. I couldn't take compliments. I couldn't do any of it. It took her about 2 months of hammering me with it over and over and over again before I finally opened my eyes up a little bit to it and started to accept. And then things just kind of went from there. It's so I got pulled out of that. Over the last couple of years here, I've been kind of pushed back down. I need to get pulled back out again, but I now know what it's like. I know how to do it. I know what it feels like.
What it feels like when you're being pulled out. All you have to do is be in social situations and allow yourself to be seen. And you do that naturally because the fourth line in you naturally wants to network with people. So now you just,
and Tone knows.
Yeah. So
He knows my struggle at this
Boy,
this
do
point.
I know the struggle is real
and
with you
how
sometimes.
I need to get out and do stuff, but I'm on the far west side of town. The people my friends.
You're a second line, and half the time you don't feel like it, Doc.
Exactly.
Doc is talking about coming out to Massachusetts for a good month in fall. So
Where
I'm
are
gonna
you,
have
Doc?
him out there with me, and
I'm in
show
Phoenix.
him around Great Barrington some.
The west side of
Introduce him to
Phoenix.
people I know.
Nice. Me and Jennifer from my show, the podcast, we're going out to Roswell, New Mexico. I don't imagine that's
Nice.
close, but
No, well, New Mexico's a tough one because the only highways that go between the two states are far north on the states and far south.
Well,
And so
Roswell's
to get
probably about a good 8 hours away from Phoenix.
Yeah, it's not a close drive. So
All
I mean,
right.
Truth or Consequences was Jesus. That had been about an 8-hour drive too, and that's center of the state to the center of the other state. And
Good
he just had to
Dan,
go
you guys are
all the way
going
down,
to, is
all
that
way
the
down,
UFO
all the way down.
convention you're
Yep.
going to on the 12th?
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So see,
Yep.
I don't think Mark's going to be at that one, but yeah, Mark's good. He was on the show last week, just doing a quick hangout. But
Well, I read for
about the UFO.
oh my God, Tom, what's Tom's last name? I read for Thomas. Why am I forgetting his last name? Thom. He's the one who in Massachusetts saw his family saw that UFO, and they made a park for him in Massachusetts about the UFO, and he helps arrange these UFO conferences. Thomas Reed.
Okay.
Thomas Reed, the UFO man. So I guess there's going to be a movie, and they had us read one of the locations. So I did the reading for Coral Castle, and that's
Nice.
part of it all. And the guy that was there, that strange man that was there, he was interesting. But yeah, it ought to be fun. And so
somebody in the comment from Rise University, I think that's Jennifer. She said Tom Reed in the comments.
Yep, Tom Reed. That's
comments.
Jennifer. That's my Jennifer.
Yep. That's what she said earlier in the comments. She's been listening, says we're all doing good here. But see, that whole UFO realm is going to be one of our episodes as well for this month, because with spring coming into the new, we're going to be exploring the unknown unknowns in life. And I mean, we've got you who opened up the ideas and the thoughts of the human design to us, is how we fit well to one another. Doc, I hope you got something out of this experience tonight, brother. I mean,
and again, it's like he was saying, it's being open to this stuff and accepting of it. And that's
I would love for you guys to do an individual read on your own. I would love for you and for him to do the read on you and Lucas, and I will fit the show will fit the donation towards that to help grow, because I want that for you and Lucas, Doc, in the future here.
It's just whatever it takes, dude. And Doc, if Lucas is your son, if you would be so kind to just get us on a group text or something so that we can network, and I get your email, I'll pull his chart, send it chart to you, and we'll just see all the great stuff that I already know. You already know. You're a natural. You'll already see everything I'll be pointing to.
For my brother Doc, he's just got to have somebody there with him, and he's got to have the confidence in himself most times, because I've seen Doc do so many great things that I myself could never see myself doing at that moment that he did it. But you baffle me, dude, and you inspire me.
But that's the only thing I at this stage of the game, that's kind of what I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
Is, whether it be to
hard.
you or anybody else, like that's just what I want to do. I want to give out whatever positivity, whether it be positive knowledge or anything. That's what I want to do. And I've put out so much negative energy to this world over the prior part of my life. I'm like, no, I have all this amazing stuff and I have amazing knowledge and I'm understanding more and more and more of myself. And if I can get that out to people and make them understand, hey, you can look into yourself and find out this stuff kind of about yourself and you can move forward and you can fight these battles and triumph. And, no, this is what I've been being mentally pushed to do now. But also, like you said, stuck and feeling like I'm like, okay, no, that's why everything you said there, it just made so much sense. I'm like, oh yeah, stuck. That's like my word for the last 2 years.
That's the primary knob on the dial, primary
Sometimes in life
is stuck. But the thing is, for you, that's the on position for you is stuck. Once you're stuck, something's about to move. Something's on the move.
Yep. Sometimes in life we get stuck in that proverbial rut of, oh my God, I need to just get out of this. And we just don't know how. And I even told you on Facebook, dude, you need to get past this. And you're like, yeah, that sounds easy. On one of your posts a while back, we were both going through some things. And from the outside looking in, it does seem easy. Just get over it. Just, dude, come on, let's go have a drink. Come on with us. Get over it.
He's got a gate 51 and
it's not wallowing.
You do have a gate 51 in your body graph. It's in an open center, but whenever I see that gate, I see somebody who every once in a while just leaps into the fire, throws caution to the wind. That's in the ego center, that little triangle that has a gate number 50. It's got one black. Yeah, that one. That's gate number 51, the warrior, shock and thunder.
Yeah.
What this gate required, but it's in an open center. So intermittently, you do shocking shit.
Yeah.
Just intermittently, and it helps bring that warrior spirit onto the plane. That's what gate 51 does.
I'll so contest to that right there.
Yep.
So this seems like a good spot to end it. This seems good and comfortable. Thank you, Dan, for coming on. The one question that I have, and you know what, I'm going to let Doc ask it. We ask every guest that comes onto the show. Doc, you want to ask him the raid party question?
God, sorry. That's been a bit.
Doc was lost in a reverie.
Yeah, usually we do shot in the mouth, but we didn't start the precedence of shot in the mouth. So next time we have Danny on, there's
what is it? What's the question?
Go ahead, Doc.
Question first. Okay. Hypothetical zombie apocalypse strikes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're hunkered down in some town. Thankfully, they're not all over the place, not swarming you. You can pick one thing, one tool or weapon or anything like that, one item. Now we have a raid party, so there's a bunch of us and we all have our own weapons. And what would you bring to that party?
Now, everybody who has been a guest,
may I ask how limited is this choice? Because we get arsenal with bazookas and flamethrowers and stuff.
We had somebody say lightsaber.
Huh?
I'm bringing a bag of honey badgers to the zombie raid party.
This
is everybody who's been.
Well, listen, on a practical, mundane plane, if I have wicked limited stuff, I'm going to answer twice if that's okay. On a mundane plane, if I have super duper limited stuff, I'm going to want the pickaxe or a screwdriver because I'm going to need to brain them.
But is it Sonic? I had to.
But in the more realistic realm, if I could have anything, I would have a fully charged phaser. Star Trek phaser. Yep.
Yeah.
That
would be solid.
A lot of things I can do with that. I can start fires with that. I can stun dumb fuckers, and I can chop the heads off and Romulan melt the heads off of the walkers. Yep.
Oh yes,
He's got it planned out. I like that.
Yes. There we go.
I'm right
behind him with the honey badger.
With the honey badgers.
You know what? I love that. I have a shirt that says "Honey Badger Don't Care" because that was the funniest. That was the funniest video that got. Look at that crazy fuck.
I know the shirt that Dan is getting. So we like to send guests shirts that have been on our show. One in shirts through the art that we create. We have a honey badger that I use in some of the pictures from our.
Good, because mine's wearing out. It's getting holes in it.
Dope. You're gonna get the Tonesperience honey badger.
Needs new honey badger.
You
love that. Love it.
Yes. Well, I'll get with you and I'll get shirt size and we'll contact on where to get it to you, or maybe I'll hand deliver it to you and get a nice picture of you.
We're not all that far away, and I gotta get to see Antoinette sooner or later. So on that note, I guess I'm gonna bug on out of here, dudes. And
all right,
cool.
We're gonna bump you.
Set us up,
Or-
text message, group text, so I can get in touch with you, Doc, and we can take off with your kid. And all.
Yeah.
Indeed,
Just,
I got that. We're gonna boop you,
thank you,
and
man.
I'm gonna get Doc's and mine's final thoughts in, and then we'll just wrap
Yep.
it up. Thanks for coming on, Dan.
I'm
has
out,
been
guys.
beautiful.
Take it easy. Love you both, man.
Nice
Oh,
talking
yeah.
to you, man.
Yep.
Have a good one. All right.
All right, did we boop him? No, he booped himself. All
I
right,
was gonna
dude,
say,
what
he's
did you
gone
think?
now.
What do you think of that experience, Doc, so
It-
far?
it's the kind of thing. Well, it's the kind of thing I was expecting.
Yeah.
It just when I opened up that image, you know, the whole the chart there, my mind just kind of goes, oh, damn. Okay, because you know it was a lot to see, but at the same rate, I immediately I didn't know what the numbers meant. I didn't know what any of that was, but I got what it was kind of showing with the paths of energy transfer, and I just didn't know exactly what they were. But yeah, I was excited about it.
Here, pin just a second. Thanks, Jen, for keeping the chat going on. Austin, thanks for joining the chat feed. I know we had a handful of people watching, dude, and the short got streamed really good.
Nice.
My takeaway from my reading when I did with him, and you're gonna have sort of the same similar reading on the phone when he does you and your boy,
Right.
is from here until the next time you chat with him, just kind of process and go everything like kind of when you go to counseling. Things are
Right.
gonna come up during that you thought that you don't really realize right now during the conversation. You just
Of course, things will slowly. Sorry, things will.
Is that the
slowly
new
trickle.
camera?
No, Lucas got this one to work finally. All he did was fucking plug it in, so I got to return the other one.
Well, dope. Return that. Send
Yeah.
the money back to the Tonesperience, dude.
I shall do that.
That was a good bump on the table. But dude, I
As you
felt like it was
do.
a good episode. So
No, I do too. I mean, Grant, it's kind of strange, going into it, and I'm like, cool, but I like it at the same rate, and I'm probably gonna send the link for the video and stuff to like my mom and shit. Be like, hey, check this out.
Yep.
know?
I will make sure to put Dan's all of his contact information in there. So if
Cool.
y'all would want to get with him, and I'll make sure to put it on our website as well, because there's a spot on there for guests that we've had and a neat little picture.
See, I didn't
of
see
him up
that. I
there.
was looking earlier.
Yeah.
Is
well,
it just the photo gallery that's like all the photos?
No, you go, there's a page that says live shows, and then or the Tonesperience Live, you click on that. I got a picture of Johnny Dismal. I got a couple. I'm working on that area. I need to tighten that up, but that's another subject right there. Love the background, brother.
I should
So
have had that last time.
my final thoughts are this right here is I exposed myself tonight and I introduced my real personality to everybody who they are.
Yeah.
To everybody out there that is watching. Not like Tone isn't really me, but Tone is an online characterization.
Right.
Of
He's
me.
a
It's
variation of.
personified.
He is a variant, my friend.
Yes, he is a variant of Josh.
Yeah.
So that I like that. He's a variant. I'm like Loki. What's up?
I think
We all
that's where
have
you
variants.
and I are a little different with our name things, because I'm like, I don't feel like I'm a variant.
Yeah.
I'm either a regeneration, if you want to go the Who route, or I murdered that other bastard.
Dude, then we're gonna go the Who route. I'm gonna see you as a regen, and I'm
Because I can actually pinpoint a few times throughout my life where I'm like, everything changed right there.
Oh yeah,
That was a regeneration. And I'm like,
yeah,
and
dude,
I
I
can
can
count them.
totally.
Like, and so
I
that's
can
why
totally
I apply it all,
pinpoint
man.
moments that brought me to this moment right here to
Yep.
today. But here's
And
my
I can-
point.
Go ahead. Yeah.
We don't get usually political or preachy on our
No.
platform, but I'm going to tell everybody out there right now, I am a man of faith still to this day, and I feel led by God to do what we are doing and what we are getting ready to start doing for the communities that we live in, because this is our outreach. This is our time. And as long as we do all of this together, while we live, love, and learn how to be together and help each other out. That's my final thoughts. And thank you for inspiring me, Doc, throughout the years of knowing you. And thank you for pushing me to be the person that I have become, brother. So with that being said, stay frosty. Thanks for joining us along this ride of the Tonesperience tonight.
Appreciate you too, my friend, my brother. We've had some times, some good, a lot of good, some more good, some little scruffy stuff. Not, I wouldn't say bad. And I love you for it all, man. And every time we get back into this, we have these little blips that we've had over the last year here where you had some stuff going on. I've had stuff going on. Neither of us felt like doing this. We knew we were going to, again, pulsating, just like we went over here. It's like, no, we knew it was going to come back. We just didn't know when. And it
this
did.
is it right here.
Yep. And
We
so I'm
got
like,
the
nope.
plan. We see the path. We've got guests lined up. We have
Hit the
a freaking
ground running.
sponsor in our back pocket right now. I will announce as soon as everything is official, but yo, we are good. And your name is spelled correctly. It no longer says Doctor Who Done It. You finally did it.
While we were
Only
on the call
been a
earlier,
year.
I did it live. Like, if
Good.
you will go
It's
back and
only
watch
been a
the video,
year.
if my
And
face
for
is on
me,
the
dude,
screen,
this
you'll see the
episode is
text
great.
change.
This episode was great for the simple fact that CJ Ortiz is just a different version of Dan here.
Right?
But the way
There were
he
so many
motivates,
parallels.
he helps it. Yeah. So it was exactly this episode last year where we had your boy CJ Ortiz on. Because remember, I just posted a link yesterday morning to that one on the Facebook. And you can see how we progressed and evolved as a show as an individual. I mean, heck, you no longer just see me. You see you see the guests,
Right?
background. I mean, look, I'm on a vintage looking TV right now, all up on YouTube, yada yada. What's up? This is
Right.
But we are hanging, we are communing. This is a version of church because we are gathering two or more in his name, I feel. So we are doing it. We're doing the path, and we're gonna do good things. So take us home, bro. Let's get out of here.
Well, as he said, stay frosty, and in everything you do, be kind and metal up.
See y'all midweek.